Survivor's ready!
Direct from Hobart, it's time for you to hear those so-called experts from Survivor Oz talk about another reality show, despite the fact they always said they would only ever talk about Survivor. It's The Amazing Race Oz, and here's your host,
Noah Grove. Hello, people and puffins, and welcome to The Amazing Race Oz on the Oz Network, Australia's only Amazing Race podcast that podcast during a hostage negotiation.
Noah.
Well, it's true, it's happening, and we're podcasting, so...
And right before a hockey game.
And right before
Go to Leafs!
So we podcast during everything. Who knows what we'll be podcasting during next week, but tune in
Christmas.
next week. Episode 11 of The Amazing Race Silver Anniversary, Season 25. Yeah, fun episode, and I am joined by 4 ARzlets, or one bacon person, from Moona,
West Moona.
in Tasmania. West Moona, he's a West Coaster. It's the man who loves bacon in his jeepney, Ben Waterworth.
Hi, I just want to, West Moona, don't lump me with the Moona bastards. Like, come on, we're a bit more posh in the West. Yes, I hope we're all going to be enjoying a nice box of Lindt chocolates throughout this episode.
Ben.
Yes, that's me. You introduced me.
I like
Hello.
Lindt chocolate.
I do too. Anyway, good to be here, Noah. Thank you for your invitation.
Thank you. Rob, what are we laughing
Kristen's
at?
so impatient. Just introduce her already.
I didn't know that was an audible sigh.
From the East Coast in the US, it's the woman who doesn't like jeepneys, Kristen. Kristen, welcome to the show.
It's Kanar. Thanks, bye.
Oh, great to have you here, Chris. From Emu Plains in Australia, it's the man who liked his Jeep driven sideways. It's Jared Luby.
It's good to be here, hey?
And I can't believe I didn't introduce you last, so I'm going to get fired from this job. And from somewhere in the US, it's... what do you like about your jeepney, Rossi?
I like it with a box of chocolates.
Rossi, too soon.
Rossi! Off this podcast, Rossi. So, episode 11, what did everyone think? I thought it was a very good episode, one of the best so far, except for the damn ending, which ruined the whole thing. This reminds me of the damn save thing from episode 4. Why do they have to ruin the good episodes with the bad endings, and then the bad episodes just have normal endings? It infuriates me. Rossi, what did you think of episode 11?
Pretty solid episode. I'm a bit confused, because I feel like they're trying to go for, 25 episodes with all these non-eliminations or something.
Well, it's the silver anniversary, they have to go big.
I don't know. All these twists and changes. I don't know if I like them, but...
Change can be good, but not when they're effing ridiculous for no point of... Kristen, this episode?
Yeah, I thought this was a really good episode until the end, where it doesn't make sense that we have to watch the same 4 teams compete in 3 legs. This is pointless. If they were going to do this, they should have at least, held out on something to where, we didn't have 2 non-eliminations in a row, essentially.
Yes, I agree, and we'll get to that, but I think that has something to do with the save. Ben, I bet you like it, because you're the scientist, but thoughts on the episode as a whole and this damn
I think all the writers of How I Met Your Mother have gone along to The Amazing Race and have just written a terrible ending for it. Well, look, this is my first full season I've ever watched it, so it doesn't really bother me too much. I kind of know how it works in the fact that I was expecting a team to be eliminated. I was spoiled beforehand, so I sort of knew this was going to happen. But it'd be it's kind of like when you first had the final 3 in Survivor. You're like, oh god, this is stupid, but I don't know. I'll wait to see how it plays out. What he said, he's going to eliminate a team at any point. So, yeah, I'm probably not as pissed off as you guys are because you're more loyal viewers than I am. But it wasn't. The episode as a whole, the episode was a good episode. But
it was a great episode, but I don't think it has anything to do with being a loyal viewer. Like, I've only really started watching this season. I've seen almost all of them now, this year. I've seen most of them, but I don't think it has anything to do with a loyal viewer. I just think it's ridiculous, like, even if you had never seen the show before, because you've just watched the same teams, as Christian mentioned, competing for the past 3 weeks, and then we're going to have 40-minute finale of this one team. What, is Amy and Maya just going to get eliminated as soon as they step out of the Philippines or something? But we'll go to you first, Jared. This time you're last. Thoughts on the episode as a whole and that ending?
I thought it was a good episode. It was stressful just cheering on Brooke and Robbie, just thinking, oh, everything's going right, and then the next second everything was going wrong, and like I wasn't convinced that they were going to stick around until they finally made it to the pit stop. Yeah, the ending was just frustrating and stupid, and I get what you're saying, like the same like 4 teams, 3 legs in a row, and I just, the way that it ended, I had a feeling that something weird was going to happen, and then it did, and it's frustrating. Like, why would you change like a format that works? Like, there was no point to like the last couple of legs at all, and like no doubt they'll all catch back up at the airport, so there's going to be like no disadvantage to like Amy and Maya like finishing last in this leg. And I mean, if you wanted to be on a season of The Amazing Race, pick this season, because like how many chances have you had to come last and not go home?
Yeah, I think we'll talk about this now because it's a pretty topical issue, but like, I was cool with the you're still racing. That didn't bother me, because then I'm like, oh, it's going to be a stressful race to the finish line with no break and that. I was cool with that. I'm like, oh yeah, that's new. That's fine. Then I was still holding hope that Amy and Maya would be eliminated, but you saw Phil standing there with that, what was he calling it? A manila envelope or whatever.
Manila folder. Haven't you ever heard of one of them before?
No.
He was also a play on words, for the record.
Yeah, and of course the smart, intelligent, beautiful scientist Amy discovered that as well. So,
wait, so what was the envelope?
It's a manila folder, like manila envelope. Like, it's a thing. Like, you know those like folders you get, just like a generic A4 cardboard that you slide.
Like a dossier type.
Yeah, they're actually called manila folders. Like, if you go to any news agency or office work,
I just thought it was they're in Manila.
No, well, that's obviously a play on words, as Kristen said. Like, that's obviously where the name originated from. So
I think they sell them at Selena's specials, don't they?
Let's call her. Selena, do you
stock Manila envelopes? We sold our last 4 a week ago.
To a New Zealander.
Yes, I was still holding hope that they would be eliminated, and then you saw him with the folder. Let's get this in, and we had Amy, we'll get to her on the seat and that, but then I'm like, oh, maybe they'll get medevaced and we don't have to have this BS ending, but, so it still happened. What I find ridiculous, as we already pointed out, that it's the same 4 teams we've had for ages, and one, I loved the wrestlers and they dominated, so that it was like they didn't get anything for being the first team at all, like no advantage, no reward or anything. And then 2, this whole, maybe, yeah, if they were racing to the end, but the whole factor that one team is going to get eliminated during the leg, like, we've only got 40 minutes, so when's this going to happen? Like, Brooke and Robbie, last ones out of the airport, so they're going to get eliminated. Like, it's just, this is going to be a mess. Kristen, I'm sure you got more to add on going forward in the next episode and this ending.
Yeah, that's actually my biggest issue, is that they're eliminating somebody in the final episode before they get to the finish line. Like, I did not like at all that they let all 4 teams continue racing. But if you're going to do that, you should just let them all race to the finish line, because I could pretty much guarantee it's going to be something that we're just going to be rolling our eyes at, like that something goes wrong for one team and they get eliminated, when they could have easily picked up ground after that, but it's just like something unlucky is going to happen and they're going to get caught right after that.
Yeah, and it's going to be, because they're all going to be on the same flight. I think we can all agree on that. And then it's going to be, the last legs are never that long, so it's going to be, what, last team to make it to the Detour or something at the end doesn't make it. Like, That just sounds like a mess. Rossi, anything to add on this ending and the next episode?
I don't know. It's weird. I don't know if I feel like it's kind of.
Wow.
I'm trying to. All right, shut up. I feel like it's a bit like unplanned, and this like it seems a bit haphazard, and it's going to be, I don't know, the last team to get a cab is eliminated or something stupid, and it's going to be
I have
boring
a
to
feeling
watch.
Brooke and Robbie are going to be the sufferers from this, like, because they
So
suck at,
from last to first to last again.
yeah, they suck at cabs and that. So does that mean they're going to get punished for that at the end? Does this have anything to do with the save? Because that's what I'm thinking, but I didn't really sit down to try and do the maths of this. But does this... It feels like this has something to do with the save. So, like, they planned 3 non-eliminations, but then they were holding out that maybe there would be a save used, even though they didn't have to use it because they had that stupid non-elimination in episode 4, which was probably dumber than this thing at the moment. But Rossi, do you think it has anything to do with the save? Do you think they were just planned it out to make sure they had an extra spot in case the save was used? I don't even know if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess. I don't know.
Jared, anything? Oh, it doesn't make sense, Kristen?
I don't think so, because why wouldn't they have, if it had been used? So say in the week that the cyclist went, when there were 5 people left, say that the dentist actually came in last there and they used the save. I think that was the last week they could use it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So say they used it. There would be 5 teams left. The next week they could have just cut out the non-elimination leg and been down to 4, and then they'd be down. Like it would still work out the same way if they just cut out the non-elimination leg. Like this makes no sense. Like there's no reason to have 4 teams in the finale. Even if the save was used, they like if the save was used or not, they could have done. They could have just put 3 teams into the finale. Like I don't get how this has anything to do with the save.
I think the save is just causing much more trouble than it should. Like we thought it was quite a good idea in the first episode, and we feel here's the save, and we want to win the save. Let's get the save. It's just whether or not it does have anything to do with the save, it's just ruining everything with stupid save. Jared, the ending final 4 teams.
Yeah, I'm just concerned about when sort of this elimination point's going to be in the next leg. I kind of get the feeling that if they kind of do sort of the double roadblock, which they seem to do every season now, that I reckon it will kind of be after the first roadblock in the leg, probably, hopefully before like a detour and then another roadblock. The only good thing about the ending was I did love how like the way that Phil said it, like when they arrived and he's like, however. And like,
yeah, I'm like, what did Brooke and Robbie do wrong? No!
Yeah, exactly. Straight away, I'm like, oh, they've taken like a jeepney somewhere where they were meant to walk, or they've done something wrong. So like, he played that really well. But like, editing was good for like who was first, but then like after that, they completely dropped it. So like, it made it so obvious that something was going to happen. Like, there was no kind of like who will be third, who will be fourth. It was just like, okay, here's team 1, here's team 2, here's team 3, and then here's team 4.
It just it really feels like a kick in the balls after a non-elimination last week as well. Like, I know Jared and Rossi have seen the old ones. I think Kristen's seen some. Like, the old ones, they used to save all the non-eliminations towards the end, and you would get, like, I just finished the family edition. I think they had 3 non-eliminations in a row. Like, it just gets a bit ridiculous. No one likes them to start with, so spread them out. Rossi?
Do you think that they're going to actually like create a pit stop? So they have to check into this first pit stop before they move on?
They had a season where they had those 2 like Muslim type guys, and remember they did it in the first episode. They had 12 teams instead of 11, and it was like. But I'm not sure if they had a pit stop there, a mini one. But so that team got eliminated halfway through the first episode, which is almost as dumb as this one, but. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they might have a mini pit stop, or maybe Phil. Maybe it'll be Phil on C, where he goes, "Amy and Maya are currently in last place," and then he turns around, "You've been eliminated," or something like that.
Yeah, they'll probably get it in like. I think they'll probably get like a warning in the clue saying like Phil is on they had the last team to meet him. Well, like I don't think they're gonna have like a mat or anything, but it'll. I think they'll know. It's not like they're just gonna run and he'll be like, "Hey guys, you're done. Bye." Like I don't think it'll be that.
Ruin the momentum of the finale. Like the finale should be go 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 go. Like, yeah, I feel like this might ruin the momentum. But if I had it my way, I'd make it. Remember when we had the Mario Kart type challenge down the hill? If I had it my way, I would make it that the teams have to compete in something like that, and the last team to cross the finish line gets eliminated. So it's really all the teams are there, and it doesn't matter about cabs or anything. You've just got to race the fastest or climb this building the fastest or whatever, something like that. So, Ben, I know you don't really watch the show as much, but you must have some opinions on this.
I agree with pretty much everything you've all said, but however, I'm also going into this kind of with a bit of a positive look. I mean, I think if anything, this can make it exciting. Like, you don't know when they're going to get eliminated, so you don't know at any point. Like, I don't like them evening the teams out. I've said that all season, but if they're all even, they get off the plane in LA all on time, and they're all, on a level playing field, at any point, they could be eliminated, which kind of, like, makes it a bit nerve-wracking. Like, oh, who's going to be eliminated? Oh, they've crashed and died, but they're not eliminated. Like, I don't know. But, like, again, going back to my point, when, Cook Islands comes along, you get a final 3 for the first time, and I think for the most part, everyone didn't like it. We still don't like it. We like the final 2, and I'm sure this probably won't be liked, and they might keep this, but people will bemoan the fact that you've got a final 4 in the finale instead of a final 3. But it's something different that could be the best twist to ever happen. We don't know yet. But, like...
This would not be the best twist.
But you don't know that. I mean,
this will not be the best.
More than likely, it won't be. But you never know. Like, we could have the most
more than likely.
We could have the most dramatic finish ever. So who knows?
I think.
Well, this is coming from someone who hasn't seen any of the seasons.
Well,
so.
look, this is my complete. Well, look, say that, but as I said before,
it's good to have a fresh outlook.
But this is my point.
I don't see how anyone could think this would be.
I'm not a observer of every season, and that fair enough. But I mean, again, this is like if you get somebody watching Survivor San Juan del Sur for the first time and never seen any previous, they're going to have a different perspective, which is, quote, the casual fan who can look at it differently. And like it or not, CBS, I'm sure, cater a lot to people just tuning in rather than their long-term fan base, because that's generally a lot of how TV works. They've got to keep it fresh so that people watching this today can pick this up.
But if they're just tuned in, how will they know it's fresh?
But what I'm saying is if someone like me who didn't... Well, somebody watches it for the first time and they don't know, they've never seen it before, this is a brand new show for them. Like, oh, this is exciting. It might lead them to go back and watch some of the older ones. But, they've got to adapt.
Oh, man, they didn't have a Final 4 like that first season I watched. This sucks.
They've got to... Well, any Survivor fan who goes back and watches Borneo says it sucks. Or they say all the early seasons are boring because there's no strategy. Like, it's kind of... You've got different...
If they say that, I'm not friends with them.
The end. That's my point. I'll shut up.
You're wrong. Go away. Moving on.
I love having Kristen on these episodes. It's so great.
I do kind
5 minutes till kickoff.
I kind of agree.
I think we should talk about this one point a bit longer. I'm not finished on this. Let's talk about the opening more, Noah. Let's extend this longer to piss her off more.
I think I like the whole fresh idea thing from your point of view, but I just don't see how this can ever be a good twist. Like, I think you can look at it objectively from not even watching a season of The Amazing Race.
Well, I'll stand corrected if it's wrong. I will say here next week.
Well, we're going to be here podcasting next week, and it was like, oh my god, that was the best episode ever. I can't believe they haven't done the Final 4 ever before. Likely not, but yeah, I think we've kind of covered that. I'm not against Amazing Race switching things up. I think Survivor has switched things up, not a whole deal, but it has changed. Obviously, blood versus water, fans versus favourites, whatever. Amazing Race has stayed pretty similar throughout the whole 25 seasons. Like, they've added U-turns and that, but there hasn't been many twists. So I'm not against new twists. Like, we'll get to the whole not getting descriptions of the detours later, but
can I just point out, like, in a way, maybe that's what a lot has turned me off I mean, I like The Amazing Race, don't get me wrong, but whereas I can easily sit here and distinguish season 13 and season 24 of Survivor, to me it seems impossible to be like, oh, season 9 of The Amazing Race compared to season 22. Like, I mean, essentially they're exactly the same, aren't they? They just go to different countries.
Well, I think the key is in the casts, but I feel like if you've watched them, for the most part, you'll know which season is which, but yeah, they can't really have titles like The Amazing Race, Los Angeles to China to Africa to Australia to New Zealand to Alaska, like. But I get your point, but I think you know them. But I think what they need to do, this is like last week now, it's getting a lot off topic, but I think I'm not against switching up, but I think it needs to be in the casting, not in the let's have a final four. Like, switch up the casting, so let's do fans versus favourites or something like that. Like, something to do with the cast. But
Selena versus that president guy we talked about last week.
Joey Estrada.
That's it, I've got his name already, sorry.
Kristen, anything on, like, The Amazing Race? I guess it's relevant to this Final Four, but The Amazing Race switching things up, or do we leave it the same for the next 25 seasons?
I wasn't paying attention.
Rossi.
Yeah, I think the twist should be maybe once in a while in the race structure, but I think it should mostly lie in casting.
Jared?
Because...
Rossi?
Yeah, I was just going to say that things really haven't changed. You kind of said that, but like things really don't change on The Amazing Race. So I feel like it's like 1 to 24, and then 25 is completely different.
Yeah. Jared?
Yeah, I'm fine with them sort of changing things up, but I think they should really think things through. So I'm fine with them kind of adding in like intersections and U-turns and different challenges. But I think like a Final Four, like I think you had like the Final Three of Survivor, but there was kind of a purpose and point to that they sort of wanted the final travel to be closer, and you could debate whether that worked or not. But I think with this, like, you didn't really have a problem with the team sort of streaking ahead sort of in the final episode. I mean, most of them are fairly sort of exciting and close. So to me, it kind of just seems like a pointless, like, oh, it's our 25th season, we've got to change something up to do with the end, and then somebody's like, oh, we could do a Final Four. And then like, yeah, that's great. And they just didn't sort of really think about if that was the best sort of potential change that they could make.
If anything, I would say do a Final Two and drop out one of the non-eliminations, so we've got more eliminations.
Exactly.
But I guess that could be disastrous, because one team could like miss a flight or like be really bad, and then it would be like, oh, well, they're the winners. Quickly, before we get into the actual episode, Ben, do you have any further thoughts on changing it up?
Look... not really from what I said. I mean, a show to last 25 seasons, no matter what genre it is, has to adapt over the years. And look, you know, as great as it is to be nostalgic about a show and, you know, love it from the beginning, if you want your show to last, I mean, times change, things change, you have to change. And you know, look, what can you do in The Amazing Race? You guys are probably more, educated and established to discuss that fact than I am. But, look, I have no problem with them doing things like that. Yeah, some of us most people by the sounds of it are going to disagree with this. And from what I was reading online, for the majority of Amazing Race fans, they don't agree with this either. But look, again, Blood vs. Water, everyone hated that concept when it was announced, and it turned into be one of the, best twists of... No, it is. It is absolutely different, but I'm just trying to use an example of a twist that everybody had. Like, again, it is different. It's a terrible comparison, but it's...
most of yours are.
Thank you. I've been eating too many Lindt chocolates, but it's... that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I haven't really read the online discussions about this, but... I feel like it feels little heart's probably broken that the fans don't like this. He's probably feeling quite sad about this. But, maybe we'll leave
feeling quite sad.
Or the what was the petrol? The fill up or whatever, something like that, wasn't it? Look, it says Phil.
That was great.
So into the episode now, because we talked about all that ending for a while, and we started with Misty sore foot, which we didn't really see anything of that during the rest of the season, and that's like a lot of stuff this season is just out of nowhere. Like the bikers are bitches, and Misty's foot is sore. Like, so I don't know.
But it
why
only happened like last episode.
Yeah, but they could have showed it, or did they show it? I guess
Like
they showed
at the
a bit
end,
of a
you just fell in
flashback.
theatre.
Yeah. So sore foot, and it came up later. But after that, they got the clues: get a jeepney, ride the jeepney, get off at this jeepney station, get on this jeepney, and cross jeepneys over here. The jeepney's going in the wrong direction. Bear, let's get a jeepney. Like they were overboard on the jeepneys this episode. Like this was like the save in episode 1: jeepney. So I don't know if it was sponsored by Jeepney, but they love the jeepneys. And we had Brooke and Robbie and the Bears having their own, and then scientists and dentists sharing jeepneys, thinking they're ahead, going, "Oh yeah, we're going to be there." And then, "Oh no, the jeepney's not going the right direction." And Misty, like, "Do we turn around?" Or so, "Well, we have to. It's not going in the right direction." "Oh, sorry, my foot's sore. I can't think." Like, and we had the what's it called? Speed bump. I've written roadblock in my notes, and it was not a roadblock. So we had the speed bump with Brooke and Robbie dominating this episode. They are awesome, and they dominated that speed bump. Rossi, the speed bump?
Boring, uninteresting.
Has there ever been a speed bump that wasn't boring and uninteresting? I
Oh, the last one. Oh, no, that was it. Never mind.
Jared, speed bump?
Yeah, kind of just there. I feel like it was definitely better than some, so one of the better ones, but still, I just hate that system.
I was worried that it might be a bit too difficult for them and that they would get behind, because it wasn't let's eat an ice cream. It was really like you've got to take this off and do this and do that. Like, oh no, Brock and Robbie, they're kind of not the smartest cookies. Like, don't lose it on me. Like, but as Phil mentioned, and maybe we're getting this in the stats, but along with the Cowboys, they are the only team to come first on a leg where they had a speed bump. So go the wrestlers. Ben, speed bump.
Again, it's just a case of, some locals have had some trouble, so let's get the random Americans to fix it up for them. And I love the guy on the bike thing. He was just like, he looked so like shell-shocked. Like, what the fuck am I meant to do? Like, he was just like, he checked it and he was just like, this is good. And then Brooke and Robbie like, yeah, woo, let's go. And he's just like, thanks. But look, they had to move shit, and I was, like you, worried, Brooke and Robbie. At least it wasn't the dentist, though. The dentist would have missed a tiny little wheel nut or something, and would have been stewing over it for 20 minutes, going, where do I put
funny
this?
That you mentioned that the locals getting them to do things and that. This was the most set up thing they've ever had on the Amazing Race. Just a poor man has had his Jeep thingy break down on the side of the road. Go and help him.
Yeah, I know. How convenient for CBS and the camera crew that we've just found someone broke it down, or maybe they've sabotaged his little machine. Make some random guy's thing break down.
Kristen, speed bump.
I'm glad that two of you actually explained it, because I had no recollection of what they had to do. But I think my favorite part was they got there, and within 3 seconds, Brooke was already saying, "Oh my god, we can't do this. This is going to take forever." And I love when she does that.
Brooke is amazing. Amazeballs, even. She is so good.
They're both
and
Robbie.
Favorite team.
They're my favorite team ever.
Teams, top 10 teams of all time in the Amazing Race. I would put them in. Detour. We had this or that, and after 2 of these, I've made up my mind. Season 26, no descriptions for any of the detours. Go off complete.
I like it.
I'm a massive fan of this. We bitched about the other changes they're doing. This net positive change. I am totally on board with this, because maybe a bit more descriptive titles rather than this or that. At least give them
A or B.
balls or bikes or something .
1 or 2?
Yeah, like, yes or no. Like, make it a bit more descriptive, because they've got no other description. Balls, bikes, or something, or like
shoot or sprint.
Yeah, shoot, sprint, yeah, throw or go.
Selena or special?
Selena or Joseph. But I am so on board with this. I love this idea. Like, I wasn't too sure the first time. I liked it, but this time I want all the detours to be like this. So just a quick whip around your opinions on that, and then we'll get to the actual detour. Rossi, you kind of grunted.
What am I doing?
Jared?
Commonly uttered words on the show.
I think it is definitely like the sort of the best new twist of the season. I think if you had to rank, say, the new things they've brought in, it would be like 1. Actually, no, sorry. 1, still on the scene. 2, blind detours, and then
Puffin.
3, the save, and 4, final 4.
Yeah, that's a good rankings of the new twist, which I think everyone would agree with. Ben, I know you haven't seen much of The Amazing Race, but you've seen how the detours work, so positive, negative?
I like it.
Or just meh?
I like it. I think you're absolutely right that it would be good for a season, because it just makes an because you'd get so many people just like, oh, let's choose this. They'd get there and they'd be like, oh, I fucking can't ride a bike. Like, that would be me. So then I'd have to
get a lot of flipping, and I love flipping.
Yeah, and it causes delays, and that could really cost somebody the game, because, if they're changing between them. And look, let's be honest, I know we're about to talk about it. Like, the basketball one, easy. The bike one, not so easy. So, I'm surprised, actually, that none of the bike people gave up and went and did the basketball one.
I feel like it could lead to, like, say, June can't fit down a small hole or something is one of the detours. So, like, a really strong team could get screwed over by picking the wrong one between this or that. But it's alright to have it every now and then, but I think if you're going to have it the whole season and not random times. Like, I'm on board with that. And, yeah, my only thing I would add is make it a bit more descriptive. This or that is really going overboard on the not telling them anything. But, like, how is this basketball? Like, and how is that bikes? Like, what?
The production meeting was like some guy going, okay, so we've got basketball, so we've got this, and over there, see that? That's the bike. So it feels like, hey, this or that.
But, like, Kristen, do you like this new twist or get rid of it?
I just got really distracted, but, hold on, I had something to say. Oh, I don't think they should do it like every leg, because I think it would get kind of, I don't know, I think it would get kind of like tired after an entire season of it, but I do like having them like sporadically thrown throughout the season.
Rossi, have you thought of something now?
Yeah. I think if they do this non-descriptive thing, I think they should make the detours actually opposites of each other, like it used to be, instead of two random, unrelated tasks, like basketball or hockey or something like that.
All detours should be like that, but I agree. So, speaking of the detour, let's talk about the detour. Yes, speaking of the detour, so we had this. So this was basketball, and we had that, which was the bikes. Ben, you said that sounded harder than this, and that people should have switched to this. I think it was they had their pros and cons, because that was harder than this, but that had a time, so if they finished it in the time, they could go, while this had no time, and they could have been playing basketball for ages. And I would probably suck at this because I can't play basketball, and I know you can't ride a bike, so you would suck at that. But
well, I mean, I see that, but like the thing is too that if you fuck up that, then you got to do it again. Like you have to start again. So I know what you mean, but
like I feel like I would probably be at the basketball for 33 minutes anyway, so that's 2 rounds of that.
But I fancy myself at basketball, and like again, I can't ride a bike. I mean, that would look like a fucking tricycle. I'm sure I could have ridden that. But I would have been fine with the basketball. and I mean the fact that Bebes did it with one arm.
Yeah, like, she does everything with one arm.
They weren't like those.
Well, she doesn't really have a choice though, does she?
Well, today I'll use two arms. Oh wait, maybe Jaws has it. But like two like those Filipino basketballers weren't trying. Clearly, like I'm sure they could have kicked their asses if they tried, but 2-on-2 basketball to 21 is pretty standard.
Was I the only one who would have been there, like, looking behind me, watching out for cars? This was on the road.
Well, they were at one point. Didn't one, like, have to, like, go beep, 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 beep?
Yeah. So, everyone, what would you do, this or that? And what was more entertaining? Jared, this or that?
I would have picked this, the basketball, and I think it was also more entertaining. I just loved how, like, with both teams, you kind of just had the one person who dominated the challenge. So with Adam and Bethany, I think Adam basically scored all of the baskets, and then with Brooke and Robbie, Brooke was just ripping it up at the end.
Jared, the netball superstar, of course, he would have done the basketball.
Yeah,
you could have
exactly.
done this.
I was going to say, though, about, like, the other Detour, like, that's stupid, like, when they first showed it and they did, like, that close-up of, like, the wheel, I literally thought somebody's bike was going to, like, break and, like, snap in half, and then nothing happened.
Rossi was talking about how they should have been, like, similar but opposite. You could have had this or that, and this basketball and that netball. You could have dominated that, Jared.
Yeah, exactly.
Kristen, this or that?
I would have done basketball because I used to play basketball a little bit when I was not legit, but like I went to like basketball camp stuff for like half my early life.
Oh my god, this camp sucks. It's
My
so
God, I'm not having a shot at the poop.
I'm not playing basketball.
Hurry up.
Basketball
I
camp.
really like basketball. I went there on purpose. But anyway.
You didn't just end up at basketball.
Are you a 76ers fan?
I don't even know what that is. I don't watch basketball.
Massive basketball fan then.
No, I liked playing it. And it wasn't like a legit camp where like you went and like slept there for
so
like
you just
2
went to a
months.
dodgy basketball camp.
No.
Oh, come to basketball
The Rolf
camp
Harris
and play
camp.
with my balls.
Definitely the Rolf Harris camp.
It was like every day for 2 weeks at my like local high school. So it wasn't like an actual like sleep there camp.
Just quickly,
but anyway,
Christy,
oh my
I just want to
God.
point out one thing quickly. You don't watch hockey. You know who the Flyers are. The 76ers is your city's NBA team. Come on.
I don't watch the NBA. I can't watch it because their shoes squeak on the floor and it gives me a headache.
Okay.
That is a lot of problem with the viewers.
I hate that.
But yeah, Kristen at basketball camp. We're learning things.
Let
here.
Kristen finish. She's annoyed at me.
Can I continue?
You can continue.
Anyway, I liked the other one better to watch though because I don't know if the kid was supposed to be chasing them around, but I really liked the kid in the red shirt that was following them. And I liked when Amy crashed into the car and then they just like hit and run and peaced out.
In that, what was with that like village people type guy who was like dancing around in the middle of it with the gloves and that? He looked like
the Filipino Michael Jackson.
Warden.
Michael Jackson, traffic warden. I love him.
What was with that?
It's Michael Jackson, like reincarnated in a Filipino traffic cop. That was awesome.
He should have been the pit stop
Apparently a thing.
Yeah, is that a thing or is that just him?
My dad said that's how. My dad may have been kidding, but he said that's how they direct traffic there. I'm not sure if he's serious.
I think just maybe he could have been pulling your leg there, Kristen. Although judging on where all the cars were going, it wouldn't surprise me. And let's not rule it out. We might have to Google that one, maybe. I don't know what you type.
I just Googled directing traffic fit, and it gave me dancing policeman directing traffic Philippines.
I reckon that guy was just happy that he'd been to Selena and got a special.
Philippines dancing traffic cop, Michael Jackson style. It's a thing.
Well, I'm sure it's a thing, but I don't think maybe all their traffic is directed like that.
Let's get anybody who has ever been to the Philippines on the line.
Well, when we get to our comments, maybe we can ask someone that question. But who haven't I asked? Rossi, this or that? If you'd finished, Kristen.
I'm done.
Rossi, this or that?
What do I think about it, or
What would you do, and what do you think about each one? What was more entertaining?
well, considering I didn't know what they were, I probably would have done that. And neither were overly interesting, so
Neither were overly
Yeah.
interesting. I think these were two of the best detours we've had all season. I was loving Brooke and Robbie basketball, Robbie pretending to be hurt so he could get the foul. Ow, ow, ow!
Should have been playing soccer.
Yeah, and the dancing warden in that, and like crashing into the
Bebe and the
thing,
Shaq
and-
references every 2 seconds. Oh, I'm like Shaquille O'Neal. Oh, I'm like Shaquille O'Neal. Oh, I'm like Shaquille O'Neal. We get it.
the Misty drama and all that. I loved both of these dudes.
And the scientist crash. Hello, have you not mentioned that?
I just said the crash.
Did you? I wasn't listening. I was doing a Kristen and a Rossi. Wasn't paying attention.
Why were they not interesting, Rossi? I would say, and I maybe need to go back and research this, but I'd say they're the two best detours of the season, as in like together. There's one that was more entertaining, but two in the one episode.
Yeah, Rossi.
I don't know. There was nothing to do. It was
Yeah, when I play basketball, there's really nothing to do. It's stand there, throw some balls.
Jeff Rosen's been in his element at this challenge.
Yeah, Phil needs to be on the scene. Like, Robbie shoots and scores. You can pick it up.
You need to pick your balls up, Robbie!
Yeah, Robbie's ball hasn't moved in a long time. Ben, you
Wait.
kind of talked about them. Go, Ross.
we completely forgot about something before the detour. Misty almost getting hit by a car.
Yes.
That was great.
That was the best part of it.
It was.
I'm being a bad host here, but I'm struggling to remember that part.
I remember it, but like, is that notable?
She wasn't that close to getting hit.
On a
She blew
scale
that-
of...
she blew that so out of proportion. She's like, I almost got hit by a car.
On a
Like, yeah, it shooted at you and it stopped.
I was too busy writing notes. I missed that one.
It was no Grand Theft Auto, like...
Ben, you kind of talked about them before, but this or that? What
Oh, basketball and heartbeat. And
can you do basketball, or you
I
just can't
played
do
I
sport?
played basketball for like a year, and I grew up in the 90s with my best friend being obsessed. We played every recess and lunch. We played
You
basketball.
go to basketball camp?
No, I didn't quite go to basketball camp, but
well, you know, basketball fan like Kristen.
well, I can at least name all 30 teams in the NBA, unlike Kristen.
I never said I was a basketball fan. I liked playing.
Excuse me, hello. But yeah, no, look, how are you? Good? Wicked. I enjoyed the basketball one, and I loved Bebe trying with one arm. That was kind of cute. And the crash was hilarious. I wanted to give Amy mouth to mouth. And
Ew.
and other than that, yeah, I think you've covered everything. Brooke and Robbie doing basketball was great when they're like over celebrating, like. Woo!
So after this and that, they had to go to Detour Market and look for the marked jeepney. You thought the jeepneys were gone. The jeepneys are back. And the surfers lost their clue in the jeepney, so they were lost at the market, being too, it's at the top of our bag. Baby, I found it. But
Baby.
that was entertaining. And then with Roadblock, Deliver the Goods, which I think was a hugely entertaining roadblock. There was so much in it. The Robbie with the reading the stuff, and then Robbie dominating, and you had Jim and Amy getting those, like, what do you call those, like, push things, like, off the locals to
Trolley
use.
things,
like,
yeah.
Jim's like, oh, can I have that? And just, like, running down, and, like, back and forth, and people bringing the wrong things. I thought this was very entertaining. Jared, what did you think of Deliver the Goods?
I thought it was a good challenge. There was sort of plenty of time for people to get stuff wrong, and then for people to overtake, and add to that the fact that Adam and Bethany couldn't find it to start off with because they couldn't find their clue. I thought it was a really good challenge, especially in the heat in that packed marketplace and people not speaking English and just trying to find sort of the right stall to deliver it to. It was really good.
This was where I was getting worried for Brooke and Robbie because they were doing so well, and I'm like, uh-oh, this is going to fall apart. But they put it together. Ben, deliver the goods.
Again, lazy Filipinos getting Americans to do their dirty work. It was fun. Anybody who's ever been to like a Asian country like that and has been to those markets knows how hectic they are. So I could imagine it would have, and the heat as well. Pretty much what Jared said, entertaining, fun, and I enjoyed it.
Kristen, deliver the goods.
I was kind of surprised that like every single team managed to not understand what the hell they were supposed to be doing and just kind of ran off. But this goes back, but is also about this part. I loved the editing in a good bit of this episode. How like we already talked about at the beginning, how they showed like 5 or 6 clips of the dentist and the scientist being like so happy about doing everything right. There was a clip during this that I loved where Amy was just standing there like looking up, like she had no idea what was going on in life, and she's like, "Where am I going? What am I supposed to be doing?" As Robbie he literally has his finger on the piece of paper and is reading like out loud where he's supposed to be going. Like I think that it was the producers and camera people just making fun of them having no idea what was going on, and I loved it.
I feel like the editing as a whole in this challenge was great, and I loved the whole Adam running away from Jim, and like there was just so much in it. Rossi?
Oh, and can I just throw something out there? Okay. I also liked how the first place that Robbie was supposed to bring his stuff, they were like, "No, you can't leave it here. You can't leave it here." So he just walks across the road and is like, "Yo, bro, can I throw this back here for a minute?" And he just left it there. Like they didn't care at all. That was so smart. Like some people that were not that obnoxious probably would have taken it all the way back, but he's just like, "No, I'm going to leave it here."
Yeah, I don't think I would have done that. I would have been like, "Oh, they might take it. I'm just going to carry it and die." Rossi, deliver the goods.
Yeah, it was alright. Crazy.
Alright, crazy. Wicked. Alright, crazy. Sounds like a rap song. Is that all you got to add?
Yeah, I really didn't care for it, so.
Noah, if you ever need to take a week off from hosting, can Rossi take over as host, please? Cool. Right.
I'll probably stay on topic, unlike you guys.
Ooh, host burn. Has Noah died? Is he died at the thought of like? Has Noah died at the thought of Rossi hosting his show?
He's handing it over right now.
Has he been taken by like Lint employees right now? Like,
we just continue without him.
So, Jared, what did you think of? Who hasn't talked about this?
We all have.
Okay, so then.
Are you there?
Oh, hello. Yes.
You're here?
Yes.
Alright. Rossi, did you finish on Deliver
He did,
the
move on.
He missed my burn.
Well, I hope you're getting treatment for that burn. Ooh.
Put some cream on, it'll be right in 3 to 5 days.
So now they need to make their way to the pit stop, Fort San Diego. Yes, so apparently the Philippines has a San Diego as well. And a bit of editing. I thought the wrestlers would be first, but I think Kristen said that it was a bit of tricky editing. I didn't really think it was too bad, but
Did I say that?
well, yeah. So I thought they would be first. They were first, but and then I thought they had done something wrong. I was very upset, and then they had to keep racing. So yeah, here's your Manila folder. Don't open it. Keep going. So fun times. I was sad they didn't get a what do you call it, holiday from Travelocity.
Yeah, I missed the gnome this week.
And then you had second Adam Bethany, 3 Misty and Jim, and then of course Amy and Maya should have been eliminated. And then we had Amy dying and Phil like, bring in this, bring in that, and they had the seat there, and Phil, bring in an umbrella. Like, alright.
He's very like, you know, anything that Phil says, he gets, like, straight away. Like, you know.
Well, it was serious business. He was getting down to business. Like. And then I'm like, oh, maybe they'll be Medivac, first ever Medivac, and we won't have to have this stupid 4 teams. So, Ben, anything to add on those 3 teams, and Amy and Maya dying?
Well, I was worried for Amy. She needed a hug, but I think the thing with the editing, when I kind of, look at their like reactions and body languages and stuff. So like when the teams are, they're trying to show like 2 teams fighting, who will get towards the end, blah 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 blah. Like generally, there's always one team who is like they're very much resigned to the fact that they know they're going to lose, like they know they're last, and usually like the third one's a bit more like hurrying, if you know what I mean. Whereas it kind of looked as though that like the sweet scientists kind of look very like, yeah, we know we're last. But I loved, and I don't know if I'm jumping the gun here, I probably am jumping the gun, but I absolutely loved Maya's reaction when Phil said that you're still in the race. Like she like shat herself then and there.
How come she wasn't running around like she was in?
I love the Amazing Race. I love life.
Phil really oversold it. He's like, "How would you like to keep racing around the world?" I'm like, surely they're just flying back to the US.
We're only
now.
halfway.
Like, Amy and I are returning players for season 26 or something like. But yeah, that's that. Kristen, anything on the remaining teams going to the final and Amy and Maya die?
Are we really not going to talk about the dentist cab ride at all, or does nobody care about this?
All the cab rides were quite...
Is that the air conditioning one? Oh no, that was Brooke, wasn't it?
No,
When
that
she
was
like,
Brooke, but-
fucking turn up the air conditioning.
We didn't mention Brooke and the baby. I'm having a baby!
Yeah, that happened.
But what was the dentist one?
The dentist, the dude was like insane. They were like, "Come on, we're in a race for $1 million."
Oh, and the taxi driver was,
and he's like,
fast.
yes, I will. Like he was like on pulse or something, and then I loved when Jim was like, "We're racing for $1 million. That's like 50 million pesos." I really liked that.
Yes, is it just me, or has Kristen gone incredibly quiet?
I think Kristen,
Gradual fade out.
I think Kristen just went into another room to say what she was saying.
She was just slowly being dragged out.
Hi, I'm Kristen, and I like to talk about the Amazing Race.
I thought I was taking off or something, and I was going quiet, but it was just a gradual quiet. And now she's gone. Rest in peace, Kristen.
Yes.
So
You're
yeah,
there
that's
talking, we just can't hear her anymore.
So Kristen, let us know if you're safe. We're thinking of you, Jared. The remaining team.
What to mention? I just think that the Sweet Scientists are clearly Phil's favourites, and there wasn't actually meant to be a 4th team in the final. And then when Phil saw them, and the fact that Amy was dying as well probably helped, and he had sort of like Margie faint at the pit stop before, so he was probably worried that would happen again. But I think
he does have a crush on the Sweet Scientists. I think he's always like talking them up.
Yeah, they're clearly his favourite team left, so that's conspiracy theory. There was actually not meant to be a 4th team in the final, and Phil just added that on the fly.
Ooh, yeah, I can maybe see it. Rossi, remaining team. Rossi.
There's not much to say. Scientists are lucky, and yeah.
Alright, scientists were lucky, and yeah. Pit stop greeter, random woman, like what?
I reckon she's a contestant in some Amazing Race version that we're just going to say, oh, random woman, but it'll turn out she's like some celebrity.
Like, what? The pit stop greeters were so good this season, they've just gone so downhill, like...
They peaked so early.
Yeah, I can't even picture what this woman looked like.
Premature ejaculators.
Yes, thank you, Ben. So yeah, that was the pit stop greeter. I'm guessing no one has anything to add on that, because that was just ridiculous. Where were the animals?
Winner of Philippines have got talent.
I wanted Michael Jackson traffic guard man to be like going, "You are team number 1."
Fun fact about Phil.
See, that was a really quick segue. You're like, okay, pit stop greeter, fun fact about Phil.
Well, I don't really want to talk about that pit stop greeter anymore, because like, that was ridiculous. I'm so disappointed how downhill they've gone.
She could be in the Sydney Siege right now.
Well, a lot of people could be. We're not ruling it out. I haven't
If
checked
she's
the news.
part of the final memory challenge, nobody will be able to pass it. 'Cause
Yeah,
nobody
maybe
knows who she is. Who?
They purposely put her in to trick them up on the final challenge.
Maybe they'll just put in the manila envelope instead because it was probably more memorable.
That's a good. We'll get to that actually. That's a good point. What was in the manila envelope? But fun fact about Phil: we need a theme song. Somebody sing a theme song. I'm sure Kristen is now. We just can't hear her. Fun fact about Phil.
Fun fact about Phil.
Ew. Yeah. Maybe we'll get a theme song for the finale. But Phil says in an interview, someone asked, "Is there anything you haven't done yet that you want to do?" And he said, "I had a near-death diving experience when I was 19. Obviously, that was a fun fact about Phil about 3 weeks ago. But he said, "After that, I created a life list of things I want to accomplish. I swam from Asia to Europe across the Bosphorus Strait."
It's not that hard.
This,
Fucking
this
bridge
is my,
over it.
This is my favourite one. I got my reindeer racing license in Finland. So Phil could race reindeer.
Must know Cass then.
And I went to a nudist resort for 3 days.
Oh.
My nude awakening.
Oh.
And the boring one to finish, I dived the world's longest underwater caves. So there you go. Phil can do nude reindeer racing in Finland.
Does anybody get any
Underwater.
photos?
Underwater, yeah. I don't think we need to see photos if Jeff Probst is anything to go off. Let's not see these photos of the hosts of reality shows. So there we go, reindeer racing. Phil. So stats about the teams. Obviously no one was eliminated, but I figure I'll do 2 teams this week and then 2 teams next week because we've still got 4. So Brooke and Robbie, second team of pro wrestlers, best finish for a wrestler team. I already mentioned second team to complete a speed bump and come in first in the same leg. The other was Jet and Cord. Brooke is the first female to complete a speed bump and come in the same leg. This is like Survivor Wikia here. Yeah, Brooke and Robbie, for some reason, their profile doesn't have a lot. Obviously, Robbie E is got a pretty extensive Wikipedia page that you can check out. I think it's the wrestling crazy fans who have put a lot of it in there. But yeah, Robert Strauss, 1980. Yeah, these are the worst for stats. If you want to know about them, look up Robbie E on Wikipedia. I think Brooke has one as well. But Amy and Maya,
Hi,
first
Amy.
team. Yes, hi Amy, if you should be listening. First team to ever make the final leg, being 4th in the leg before.
Wow.
Cool. 4th female interracial team to compete, following Maria and Tiffany from season 15.
Love
Nat
them.
and Kat. Obviously Nat and Kat, pretty good team from season 17. And Neri and Jamie from season 20.
No, they were overrated.
I think they were like the FBI girls, but I don't want to say that with too much confidence.
Not anymore, I'm guessing, after they were on The Amazing Race. Don't need to keep that stuff secret.
YOLO. So Amy DeJong, she says she enjoys food science. Well, that's good. Running and volleyball. She enjoys running. What? What accomplishment are you most proud of? She had an experiment gone wrong in one of her internships, and it turned into something interesting that the company wanted to pursue further. I wish my mistakes turned into good things.
Well, they do. Survivor Oz.
The famous person reminds you of yourself. She thinks Leonard from The Big Bang Theory is most like her. And then Maya says that Amy is most like Mayim Bialik, who's from The Big Bang Theory. I'm not sure which one.
She's Amy Farrah Fowler, the one who's in the One World Reunion.
That was the one from Survivor, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, these 2 teams, not very good for the stats. That's pretty much it. You can look for yourself. There's no things about taking pictures of their own toilet, sending it to the families or anything like that. So
RateMyPoo.com.
Amy's 24 and Maya is 29. So, what was what was the one where it was pet peeve? Amy talks a lot. So do I. And and then the other pet peeve from Amy about Maya is she can be so picky. She yells at me when I drink coffee. And she says the smell bothers her. It's like living with a crazy person. So Maya doesn't like the coffee. What have we got left? Next is the rankings. Or the predictions. We don't have... Obviously, there's no... We already read them out last week of the Final Four, but I want your own predictions now going forward. What will be the boot list? Who will be the first one at the halfway pit stop kind of thing out? And who will be the winner, second place, third place? Ben. Not who you want, who you think it will be.
Who I think? Can I give who I want as well?
You can do both.
Thank you. Who I think Amy and Maya will go first. I think... look, I'm going to change... no, I still think Brooke and Robbie will go third. No, I'm going to stick to my unusual. I think that Bebe will finish second, and I think the dentist will win. Who I want the wrestlers to win. I want the dentist to come second. I want the sweet scientist to come third, and I want Bebe to be the team eliminated. I like Bebe, but Team Bebe. But look, out of the four, they're my least favourite. But I still like them.
I think Amy and Maya will miss the midway point thing.
Do they have to do a roadblocky thing, like a speed bump, or, like the thing?
No, because it was a keep racing, it wasn't a non-elimination.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Well, technically they are non-eliminations, because no one was eliminated, but it's technically still one leg. But I think Amy and Maya will be up first, then the wrestlers will be third, second will be the dentist, and first will be Bebe. And I want the wrestlers to win, and the sweet scientist to be out first, but then other than that, I don't really care at all. Colin sent me his. He thinks Amy and Maya will be fourth, Adam and Bethany third, Jim and Missy second, and Brooke and Robbie first. I really hope you're right, Colin. Jared, your order of who you want and who you think it will be?
Okay, who I think... I just get the feeling that one of sort of the better teams is going to get screwed over by this twist. So I think that Misty and Jim are going to get eliminated halfway through the leg, and then Amy and Maya will finish third, Brooke and Robbie second, and the Surfers first. What I want to happen is for the Sweet Scientist to go at the midway point, or the Surfers second, and then the Wrestlers first.
Rossi, your order?
I think the wrestlers will be eliminated first, then the scientist third, the dentist second, meaning Adam and Bethany will win.
Baby.
But I want the dentist eliminated halfway through. The wrestlers in third, scientist second, and Adam and Bethany winning.
I thought you weren't a fan of the Bebe.
I don't know what I want, so forget it.
Rossi is a man who does not know what he wants. Kristen...
Sure he's a man, then?
Kristen... What?
Women don't know what they want.
Kristen, can you hear me?
We're now crossing live to the Sydney Siege. Kristen, once bought a Lindt chocolate. Kristen, can you hear us?
I don't know what happened to Kristen when she just faded out.
Maybe she's gonna fade in.
Yeah, like...
Okay, we have some technical difficulties. We're just going to try to cross back to Martin Place there. Kristen, can you hear us?
She can hear us. What happened to you, Kristen? Where are you? Are you okay? Do you want us to ring 911?
Kristen, the Lindt chocolate that you ate, is it part of an Islamic terrorist group?
Kristen says in the comments...
Is that what she wants, or is that what she thinks?
Kristen said in the comments that she wants...
So what order is that in? Is that Brooke and Robbie the win? Scientist?
Either one's Brooke and Robbie out. So Kristen wants the scientists to win.
No,
she wants
thinks.
the surferless to be eliminated first. She wants the dentist to come second, and she wants Brooke and Robbie third. Is that right, Kristen?
Okay, just read it out. Kristen Kanar. I can hear you, lol. Brooke and Robbie, scientist, surface, dentist, thinks.
That's
4
what she
to 1.
thinks.
What? No, stop.
I was only doing it to tease her because she's not here to defend herself. But
We can say whatever we want about her.
So, hashtag for team, what's a better one? We'll just do 2 teams this week, and then we'll do 2 teams next week. We had no elimination this week. So, what's a better hashtag than hashtag soul surfers, and what's a better hashtag than hashtag dentists? Rossi.
Hold on, I have it written down. I don't have it yet, so...
Jared.
Okay.
For the dentist, it would have to be whatever their code names were. Was it like Canine and Cuspid or something?
Oh, yeah, Molar or something like that.
Yeah. And for the soul surfers, hashtag Team Bebe.
Ben?
Team Bebe. Or Team Dern it. It's been like 10 years, guys. The joke's a bit funny. And for the dentists, and you'll get this reference if you're a fan of the Terminator films, hashtag come with me if you want to live.
I think everyone will get that reference, probably won't they?
It's a reference in every single Terminator movie.
I would think hashtag Team Stumpy and Big Nose. That's not meant to be offensive.
But no, she calls it Stumpy. It's on a website.
Does she?
It is.
Well, I'm a fan of them. I'm not meaning that to be mean.
But it's funny, but like literally if you go to whatever her name is, like .com, I was reading facts about it last week, we'll read it again next week, but she calls it Stumpy. Like that's actually her name for it.
Yeah, well, Stumpy and Big Nose, and that, yeah, not meant to be offensive. I love their team. Kristen, hashtags for the team? Oh, wait, can't hear you. Type it in the comments. Oh, I don't want to play this.
I hate hashtags.
Kristen says hashtag
You're an
Bebe.
asshole.
Kristen's is hashtag Bebe and
Hashtag fuck you.
Rossi, have you found yours?
Yes, so for the surfers, it's hashtag Shark Attack. And for the dentists, I wasn't creative, so I said hashtag Tooth Fairies.
Hey, Jim's not a fairy. Don't you say that to him. No, Kristen, you can't leave. We're holding her hostage.
We're not in an elite
right.
cafe.
We need to stop joking about this, because this is happening now, and if something bad happens of this, what if the people who are held up there are Amazing Race Oz listeners?
They could be like, they could be Survivor Oz listeners. You
So
know what the terrorists are probably doing? They're probably making them listen to Survivor Oz.
we should probably not joke about it, because what if it ends badly, and this will come out like in 2 weeks, or whenever Alex gets it. Hashtag, just kidding.
No one, like only Catherine will complain. She'll just be like, oh, I don't know what happened, but anyway. Our thoughts and prayers are with all the victims of the massacre today, or we're glad it was resolved. Or we're glad it was resolved safely. The end.
We'll record alternate versions.
Well, I'll edit this and I'll just dub it over. Our thoughts are technical issues. Please stand by.
Alright, we need to stop joking. It's actually a pretty serious issue. Speaking of Catherine, I put the request out for comments last week, and comments occurred. If I can find them, we got 10 comments, so woo, go
but
on.
not 10 from Catherine. You asked for 10 from Catherine. I don't think she's
Yeah,
got 10.
we'll get to that. I've got a bone to pick with Catherine.
Yeah, Catherine!
Poor Tracy didn't come back. Like, all she wanted to do was comment on our thing. Like, we put the request out, she commented, ended up getting married, so she didn't come back, because she was too scared of who she's going to be married to next. But first we had one from Colin saying, if you don't hit 10 comments, it is Morella's fault again. Regardless, this reply thread already has more activity than Selena's specials have seen all year.
Hey!
Colin!
Too soon!
And then another from Colin. This is Colin from the Amazing Race Season 5. And my favourite Canadian hockey teams in order are Toronto Maple Leafs, Calgary Flames, Winnipeg Jets, Montreal Canadiens. That's their name, Montreal Canadiens.
They're the most successful team in the NHL. They've won the most Stanley Cups.
Vancouver Canucks. Edmonton Oilers, Ottawa Senators, and Yukon Puffins.
Good boy, Colin. I just want to point out, Colin, good man. Calgary Flames second. Good boy.
I thought he was mean against Team Queeth, but and the Canadian hockey girls have probably never played hockey, nor do they know anything about hockey. They lied about their profession just to force the blind sheep that are Canadian Amazing Race fans into liking them, as they had no personality to go off of. And Gouda is to die for, or so I'm told. Gouda.
Cheese.
Oh. Survivor Oz says Calgary number 2, good man. Catherine says 10 comments. Bossy much? Richard Dean Anderson played MacGyver as well as Jack O'Neill on Stargate SG-1. All hail the great Richard Dean Anderson. Magnets, bitches. Come on, that was good. How can you... I got a lot of hate for the magnets.
So you should!
Not a lot of hate, 2 hates, but people were hating on that I don't like the magnets. Kristen was giving me a hard time in Twitter. That was one of the worst moments of TV ever, and I loved that show, so that almost jumped the shark at that moment. Like,
this is strange. I agree with Kristen for once.
People just say it because, it's Breaking Bad, the greatest thing ever, they can't do anything wrong. Like, admit when something's bad. Stop being a super fanboy. Admit when something is really cheesy and really terrible. So, no to the magnets. I hated that. And Kristen's not here to defend herself because she faded away. Alright, Catherine also says, The Amazing Race visiting any part of Australia would be good. Hobart would be an interesting choice and would highlight a part of Australia that few outside of Australia and a lot within don't know anything about. Flights in and out would make a good bunching situation, plus surely it's an opportunity to have a Tassie Devil as a pit stop greeter. Is Catherine from Australia, or is this the American Catherine?
She's American.
We've got a few Catherine.
Isn't she American, Catherine?
Well, we've got Catherine from the Oztopsies.
No, that's different Catherine, I think. Is it?
And then we've got oldish Catherine. Older Catherine. Older than the other
Mature Catherine.
We have mature Catherine from Sierra's hometown, so I think that's her, but maybe we have 3 Catherines, so... Then she says, seeing the water that the teams were meant to do captured in, I would definitely pick coach. Being on the short side, I think they would struggle going through the water with some of those waves looking like they would hitting me at shoulder height. Short Catherine, I think it is. Catherine also says, I'm really wanting the sciences to do well. Maya is so enthusiastic that it's catching, and poor hunched Amy. Plus they are representing all of us so-called nerdy girls who rarely get a look in on TV. Catherine, appreciate the comments, but we said 10. That's not 10, so that means you're going to have to write 100 next week.
Oh!
Yeah.
Cracking the whip here.
In all seriousness, thanks for the comments, Catherine. Cassie, I think this is Cass McQuillan. Cassie, she's going by now. My Christmas gift to Oz, a comment. Thanks, Cassie.
That's not fucking good enough. I want, like, something better than that.
Leave Cassie alone.
Hi, Cassie. Hi, Cassie. You should donate, and you can also marry one of our Ozlets. I think Jared's a bit lonely.
The final comment from Enrico, and this is what I mentioned earlier. He said, for the record, the pit stop greeter said, welcome to Nyack, pronounced Naik, Philippines. He was very shy and probably doesn't want to do anything with the wrestlers. I was waiting for him to say, can I go home now? Like before they get here. The mayor of Rosario, about 20 kilometers southwest of Manila, is probably the dude whose face was slapped on the front of the tricycles. That approaching rainstorm from the Catch Detour looked really cool. Overall, the episode focused on how different the teams are from each other in terms of their perspectives on the race experience. And I loved that. So I'm guessing Enrico is from the Philippines, or he knows how to speak Filipino, so...
He could just know Filipino.
If you are from the Philippines, Enrico, could you please reply to that thing we talked about earlier that is escaping my mind that Ben wanted to know? What? You wanted to know something, Ben. Oh, do you know who that woman was? You can tell me.
Yeah, who was the chick at the end? Like, is that like the Prime Minister of No, not the Prime Minister. The fuck, I don't know. Is she like a woman?
Is probably from like Perth or something.
Is she like Philippines, like Angelina Jolie?
So there we go. We got 10 comments. So thanks to Catherine for your 7 or so. Enrico, thanks very much. Appreciate it. Cassie, Christmas gift. Survivor Oz, and Colin. Thank you very much. And I also had some points from Colin that he wanted me to bring up because he couldn't make it. We'll probably try and get you on for the next episode, Colin. But Colin's says to me, I had a couple of points. I was curious to get everyone's opinion on during the episode. 1, should Amy have been medically cleared to run the race in the first place, and she would have fewer issues if she was able to walk upright? Question mark. So Ben, should Amy have been medically cleared before the race, and would she be able to do better if she was upright?
I would have given her a full examination and made her upright.
Ben, stop being creepy.
I was not being creepy. I'm simply saying my medical expertise as a member of the Church of Bacon would have allowed me to examine her.
Still creepy.
But look, I couldn't answer that question because I don't know how they go medically on The Amazing Race. Like, she didn't die, so I'm guessing it's okay.
Ross?
I don't know. Obviously, I didn't care at all about her, so...
Poor Colin. Yeah. He's put a lot of thought into these questions and he's really getting shut down. Jared?
Oh, that's a tough one. Well, I mean, you can't discriminate against hunchbacks, so I think they did the right thing.
Esmeralda did.
True.
Poor Amy.
I'm sure it was very sort of touch and go whether she'd make it. They probably had standbys, a standby team waiting in the wings, and then they cleared her on race day, and then she was off.
Leave Amy alone.
This is a good one. Colin says, is Misty starting to get a dumb edit?
Say that again, sorry. I was doing a Rossi and not paying attention.
Is Misty starting to get a dumb edit, Ben?
Has she had a smart edit at all this season?
Well, she hasn't had a dumb edit. She's just been Misty. But is she starting to look dumb?
Oh, look, no disrespect to her, but I just think she's kind of just had the same edit all season. Like, you know, Jim's like, Terminator kill. And she's just like, oh, yes, honey. So I don't know.
I can see what he's saying, though, with like...
Yeah.
Oh, should we turn the jeepney around? Like, yes, Misty, we should. We're going in the wrong direction.
To make Colin feel good for his very in-depth questions, yes.
Rossi, Misty, dumb edit, or no different?
I think she is getting a dumb edit, but that probably stems from her being dumb already, so...
I don't think Misty's dumb. She's a dentist. Oh, mate.
I don't know how smart you have to be to pull out a tooth.
Yeah, Jared, dumb edit?
I wouldn't say so. I think it's been pretty consistent. I think she's just kind of edited as the weaker member of the team. I mean, everybody...
Yep.
Stop doing that.
I don't know if everybody just lost him at that point, or was that just me?
And 3. What was more... Oh, it buttered a bit, but I thought it was just my side. Do you want to repeat that quickly, Jared?
I was just saying that her edit is pretty consistent, and that they all kind of look stupid in the jeepney, and that Misty and Jim shouldn't work with other teams because it always goes south.
And finally, Colin says, what was more disturbing, Brooke looking and sounding like she was having labour pains in the back of the taxi, or Adam looking like he was ready to have mouth sex with the air conditioning vent in the back of the taxi?
Is that what they call it in Canada? Oh, honey, give me mouth sex, eh?
What was more disturbing, Ben?
More disturbing that Colin calls it mouth sex. What the fuck, Colin? Oh, let's watch a game of hockey and have mouth sex.
Rossi, what was more disturbing?
I'm gonna go with Brooke and the labor pains, only because I never saw Adam have mouth sex on The Amazing Race.
You know how Brooke got those labour pains? She had mouth sex.
Jared?
I didn't notice the Adam thing at all, but I am going to say probably the flashbacks of Amy and Maya when they were doing that hat spinning challenge and they both looked possessed.
Yeah, I miss the hat spin. Poor Keith and Whitney.
Keith and Whitney.
That's all. Thanks, Colin, for those questions.
Thanks, Colin.
Our team of ARzlets kind of shut your questions down, but I thought they were quite good.
Good job, E.
So that's pretty much it for this week. We lost Kristen completely. She's gone. That was all a ploy just so she could watch her game. So she pretended to fade away. Anything else to add on anything this last week before we have our winner of the Amazing Race Season 25, Ben?
Kind of exciting to think that this time in 1 week we will know the winner of Survivor and the winner of the Amazing Race.
Well, really, it's only... yes, this time next week we will.
Well, I mean, but this time next week when we get the recap up for this week... hi, Alex. I'm kidding. We love you, Alex. And I love dentists too, can I just point out? Next time I go to the dentist, please don't kill me with your tools. But
I would love Jim to be my dentist.
I would too. That would be a cool talking point. Hey, you're Jim! The Newtown Dental Clinic. That would be a bit of a shock.
Here's a fact that no one wants to hear that might be quite disturbing. I haven't been to the dentist in 7 years. 8 years even.
I haven't been in 6.
Ooh, you're catching up to me.
It's not exactly something that you exactly want to do every weekend, but...
No, but I feel like you go more than every 7 years, though.
Well, dentists are expensive. Like, you have to pay for the dentist. It's not like the doctors here, where in Australia, and suck on this, Rossi, we can go for free. But here in, like, you got to go to the dentist. Like, you've got to pay like $50 for them to open your mouth.
Yeah. And who knows what they'll do after what Colin wrote. Maybe when you open your mouth, I don't know what's going to happen.
I'm going to mouth sex you.
Hey.
Yeah?
So, I forgot. A quick whip around, just to wrap this up. What is in the manila folder?
Mouth sex instructions.
Jared, anything else before next week and our final episode? And what is in the manila folder?
Okay, first thing, Phil on a bike. I thought that was great from this episode.
Oh, yes, I did write in my notes. Phil not wearing a helmet, nor Phil.
Ooh, dangerous. In the manila envelope, isn't that the $1 million question? Yeah, that's what it's in it, $1 million check. They open that on the finish line.
Well, it could be $1 million question. Like, they have to answer the question when they get to the end.
They could just end it.
Like, I think it might be like a satisfaction survey about like the Amazing Race. How was your time on the race?
How would you rate Phil on the scene? Phil on the scene.
What did you think of? Oh, a mini Phil popping out.
Hello, I'm Phil Kogan.
Like, yeah, mini Phil clone.
Mini Phil.
Or just a picture of Phil.
Signed photo of Phil. If you win this leg, you win a signed picture of Phil.
A signed photo. It's just little presents Phil got for the final 14.
Oh, look, when we were in the UK, I bought you
Christmas
a sticker of the Big Ben.
A voucher for a lifetime supply of his energy bars.
It's a Selena special voucher.
A picture of a puffin. Rossi, anything else to add before next week's finale? And what's in the manila folder?
What's in the box?
I'm pretty sure Phil took a naked picture and put it in the envelope.
At his nudist camp.
Yes. Him reindeer directing, listening to Michael Jackson in the nude.
That's what I do on the weekend.
Well, yes, next week is the finale. We got a bit of a hint there. Smashing out windows. One team's going to be eliminated halfway. Our final episode of Season 25.
It's a city I've been to. You know, when in the early season you used to ask people like, oh, have you ever been to, like, London? You can ask me that question next week. No, I've been to Los Angeles.
Ooh.
Ooh! I'm sure Rossi and Jared probably have too, but anyway.
This could be the first place that they've ever been. Oh, well, Rossi was been to New York, but other than
I've been to New York too.
Yeah, so that will be fun. Yeah, so it's going to be exciting. I'm hoping for a heights challenge to wrap it up. Who knows how the fourth person will be eliminated. Send us more comments after this episode about the finale, what you thought of the season, anything to wrap it up for our final podcast? Some questions, comments, and we haven't really had our production meeting about this, but if you want us to keep going on these episodes, we haven't really discussed it at all, but if you want season 26 podcast, then...
Well, we will be doing it if they go to Hobart. Like, come on.
Yeah, and let us know if you don't want them. We're going to get a message from Cassie, thanks, but no thanks. So, yeah, let us know. If they go to Hobart, we're at least doing that episode, but... Yeah, subscribe, Survivor Oz on iTunes, website survivoroz.com, Twitter, Survivor Oz, Oz_Noah, lower cases. Ben, Church of Bacon, Jeepneys, thanks for joining.
Thank you very much, and just a special shout out, we're still on the 51 iTunes rankings. Please let us at least get to 55 before Christmas. I'll lower the number. Thank you very much. Good night.
Yeah, Cassie, if you want to give us a Christmas gift, there you go.
55 rankings.
Plus, I'll take Survivor DVDs, money, chocolate,
Dim Sims,
buffs, Dim Sims. I'll have a Dim Sim. So thanks, Cassie. There's your list. You got a few days. Rossi, thanks for joining us.
Yep.
Yep. Very enthusiastic. Jared, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Looking forward to the finale.
I'm looking forward to the finale too, and thanks to everyone for listening. And as we wrap up,
Jared
we're also wrapping presents to wrap up the podcast, apparently.
Tearing up something.
Just doing our annual tearing of all our papers in the room. I don't know what's
shred.
Shred the papers.
Gotta go stop contracts. Gotta go.
Destroying some top secret terrorist forms or something. I don't know what he's doing, but it's time to wrap up. Yeah, he's opening the Manila folder. Yes, so send us survivoroz@hotmail.com. What was Jared doing at the end of the podcast?
.com.au.
.com.au. It's time to wrap it up. Thanks for everyone for listening. Thanks to Kristen for bailing. And saying goodbye. Bye. Fading out. You're so dumb. And we'll speak to you next time on The Plane.